Mabuhay! We are the Group 1, the reporter of repetitive tasks, risk design, and risk management. Introduction. Perfect practice makes perfect. Several studies showed that accomplishing work in a repetitive task will both affect the mental and physical health of the worker. The productivity of the staff is the backbone of the success of any organization and industry, especially the hospitality and tourism industry, which delivers service and goods. Content. The genesis of ergonomics as a philosophical concept of work-related physical symptoms was first introduced in 1857 by Wojciech Zatsuberski. Ergonomics has evolved from a philosophical concept to a scientific discipline that focuses on the human body and its movements in a relation to its environment as in interact in work and everyday life. So, balik po muna tayo dito sa repetitive task, risk design, and risk management. Magbibigay lang po ako ng maikling explanation about po dito. Bago po tayo mag-proceed sa two major concept in promoting and safety and healthy workplace. So, ano nga ba ang repetitive task? Ang repetitive task ay isang gawain na paulit-ulit na ginagawa sa araw-araw, for example, sa trabaho. Kadalasan, dahil nga paulit-ulit ito, ay nagiging mas mabilis ang gawain, ngunit may potensyal na magdulot ng stress at pagkabagot sa mga manggagawa. Sunod naman ay risk design. Ano ang risk design? Ang risk design ay isang proseso ng pagtukoy at pagpaplano ng mga posibleng panganib sa pagbuo o disenyo ng isang produkto, sistema o proseso. Layunin nito na mabawasan ang mga posibleng panganib bago pa man ito mangyari. For example, sa pagdidisenyo ng isang bagong sasakyan, tinitiyak na may mga safety ito tulad ng mga seatbelt, airbag, at para sa kaligtasan ng mga pasahero sakaling magkaroon man ito ng aksidente. Next naman ang risk management. Ang risk management ay ang kabuuang proseso ng pagtukoy, pagsusuri at pagtugon ng mga posibleng panganib sa isang proyekto o operasyon. Layunin nito na mabawasan ang epekto ng mga panganib o pigilan ang mga ito na mangyari. Halimbawa, sa isang construction site, may mga proseso tulad ng pagsuot ng mga hard hat, harness at regular na inspection para sa mapigilan ang mga aksidente at pasigurado ang kaligtasan ng mga manggagawa.
Two major concerns in promoting a safe and healthy workplace, psychological and psychosocial. The psychological aspect is primarily concerned with boredom when work is repetitive. Sabi dito, ay nakatuon sa damdamin ng pagkabagot na nararanasan ng mga tao kapag ang kanilang trabaho ay paulit-ulit at walang pagbabago, na parang ang trabaho ay nagiging isang routine na nakakasawa at nakakawalang gana. The psychosocial hazards in the workplace are violence, sexual harassment, and stress. Sa trabaho namang ito ay ang mga panganib na nakakaapekto sa kalusugan ng isip ng mga manggagawa. Ang violence, sexual harassment, and stress ay ang mga pangunahin na halimbawa na maaaring maranasan sa trabaho. Maaari ring magkaroon ng malubhang epekto sa kalusugan at isip, kung kaya't dapat nilang bigyan ng pansin ang psychosocial hazards at magkaroon ng patakaran at programa upang maiwasan ito. Physical. This aspect deals with the environment that can be the source of hazards. It can be from falls, sleepy, and trips, exposure to extreme sound, and height of work surfaces. Ito naman po ay trabaho na tumutukoy sa panganib na direktang nagmumula sa kapaligiran ng trabaho. Ito ay ang mga panganib na nagdudulot ng pisikal na pinsala sa mga manggagawa. Sabi nga gaya ng pagkahulog sa taas, pagtudulas, pagkatisod, at pagtatrabaho sa matataas na lugar. Maiwasan ang mga ito sa pagsunod ng mga patakaran sa kaligtasan at paggamit ng tamang kagamitan sa trabaho. Common physical hazards, biological hazards, are the existence of human substances that can pose a threat to the health and well-being of humans and other living organisms. Ito naman ay nagmumula sa mga bagay na nabubuhay tulad ng mikrobyo, virus, bakterya at fungi. Sila ang nagdudulot ng sakit o pinsala sa mga tao at sa iba pang nabubuhay. Ang biological hazards ay matatagpuan sa iba't ibang lugar tulad ng mga ospital, mga pabrika, mga paaralan at ating mga tahanan. Chemical hazards are substances that are synthetic in nature that can be harmful to man and the environment. Ito yung mga sangkap na gawa ng tao na maaaring magdulot ng pinsala sa tao at kapaligiran. Maraming uri ng chemical hazards at ang mga ito ay nasa iba't ibang anyo gaya ng solid, liquid, and gas. Ito ay nagdudulot ng iba't ibang epekto sa kalusugan, pangangati ng balat hanggang sa cancer, nagdudulot din ng pinsala sa kapaligiran tulad ng polusyon sa hangin, tubig, at lupa. Physical hazards manifest in the environment where the workforce is exposed to extreme sound, heights, pressure, and even radiation. Ito naman ay mga panganib na nagmumula sa kapaligiran ng mismong trabaho na parang ang kapaligiran ay nagiging isang source ng mga panganib na maaaring magdulot ng pinsala sa mga manggagawa. Safety hazards present in unsafe working areas such as uneven floor, damaged carpets, and chipped tiles that may cause people to trip and fall. Ito naman ang mga hazard sa lugar ng trabaho na maaaring magdulot ng pinsala gaya ng pagkatisod at pagkahulog. May iba pang halimbawa ang safety hazards tulad ng sirang kagamitan, nakaharang sa daanan, hindi magandang pag-iilaw, nakalampad na wire at mga nakakalasong kemikal. At para maiwasan ng mga ito, mahalaga ang pag-iingat at pagsunod sa mga patakaran para sa kaligtasan. Ergonomic hazards are the results of factors that affect the musculoskeletal systems due to inefficient design of workspaces, manner of handling, and incorrect posture. Ito naman yung mga hazards na nagmumula sa hindi magandang disenyo ng mga lugar ng trabaho, mga paraan ng paghawak ng mga bagay, at hindi tamang postura. Ito ay nagdudulot ng mga problema sa musculoskeletal system tulad ng sakit sa likod, leeg, pulso at iba pang problema sa kalamnan at buto.
Importance of risk assessment in the hospitality and tourism industry. Risk assessment is a methodological, well-planned, and systematic process in establishing the identification of hazard and evaluating their interrelationship with the risk within the workplace. First is accident. What is accident? Accidents are unplanned and unexpected events that may result in damaged property or equipment, even loss of life. Sinasabi dito is, ang aksidente hindi natin masasabi kung kailan ito mangyayari at hindi ito nakaplano. Sa isang aksidente ay nagre-resulta ng pagkasira ng isang workplace at minsan nasisira din ng mga equipment or kagamitan. At kung minsan naman ay ang aksidente na may mga tao na nawawalan ng buhay. Next is hazard. Hazard are potential incident that may cause harm. Ang panganib ay isang pinagmumulan o isang sitwasyon na may potential para sa pinsala sa mga tuntunin ng tao, masamang kalusugan, sa mga ari-arian, pinsala sa mga mga kapaligiran o mga kombinasyon ng mga ito. Next is risk. Risks are the existence of negative incident that result from hazard. Ang sabi dito ay, ang panganib ay ang pagkakataon ng isang bagay na mangyari na magkaroon ng negatibong epekto. Ang antas ng panganib ay sumaysailalim sa posibilidad ng hindi kaganapan, ang mga potensyal na kahitatnan ng hindi kinagustong kaganapan. Ayun yung mga yung mga gaya na lamang ng yung mga dulas ka, madapa ka, yung mabasag ang baso, mabasag ang plato, ayun, hindi yun ayun yung hindi mo naman yun kagustuhan. Yung
Hazards and risks in the workplace may be difficult to eliminate, however, they can be reduced to a minimum. But first, what is the hazard and risk? Hazard is a source or condition that has the potential to cause harm, whether in the form of human injury or illness, property damage, environmental damage, or a combination of these, while risk is the possibility that something negative will occur. Now, let's know the strategies on how to minimize these hazards and risks. Number 1. Eliminate and plan the workspace. A well-designed facility is the output of a multidisciplinary team from the professionals who build the environment, such as architects, interior designers, engineers, and contractors, to the owners, facility operators, and the staff. A functional, utilitarian, aesthetically designed, and appropriately located facility or space can minimize the incidence of hazards and risks. So, if you want to create a safe and effective workspace, a team effort will involve many experts. When this team carefully plans the layout, style, and location, the result is a workspace that not only looks good but is practical and helps reduce risks and hazards for everyone using it. Number 2. Development of a safety plan to control hazards. A sound safety plan will ensure the workers' satisfaction and trust in the company. When employees realize that there are clear regulations and procedures in place to prevent accidents, they feel more secure and comfortable in their jobs, which increases their trust and pleasure with the organization. Number 3. Regular inspection and maintenance of workplace. The areas that need to be inspected are the spaces that have equipment, tools, furniture, and fixtures. Maintenance in hospitality facilities goes beyond aesthetics. It is an important process that ensures and assures that the clients, guests, staff, and workers are safe and secure. There are 4 main programs in the maintenance of facility. Letter A. Routine maintenance. Routine maintenance entails performing regular upkeep duties to keep the building, grounds, and other facilities in good condition. These duties can be completed daily or weekly, depending on how frequently the area is utilized and its condition. They are usually easy tasks that do not require advanced skills. Letter B. Preventive maintenance. It entails frequently inspecting and servicing equipment, fixtures, and furniture to avoid problems before they arise. It's similar to typical automotive maintenance in that you stick to a fixed plan. For example, changing the oil every 5,000 kilometers to keep things functioning properly. This maintenance is frequently based on the manufacturer's recommendations, ensuring that everything remains in good operating condition and avoiding breakdowns that could disrupt operations. C. Scheduled maintenance. It refers to tasks that are planned ahead of time and have specific completion dates and deadlines. These activities are assigned to a certain person or team and frequently occur at regular intervals. Inspections, routine service, modifications, and even temporarily shutting down a piece of the facility for more extensive maintenance are all options. Letter D. Emergency maintenance is an instant response to address unexpected problems or breakdowns that could endanger or interrupt the use of a location. It is done to immediately fix issues that endanger people, property, or the facility's functionality. For example, repairing a sudden plumbing leak minimizes more damage to the structure and keep regions safe and usable. Number 4. Training the workforce. Training the workforce in hospitality and tourism ensures that employees understand their duties and responsibilities as well as how to collaborate effectively. With a well-trained crew, Operations function smoothly and can be sustained over time. Employees benefit from training because it improves their skills, knowledge, and efficiency, hence strengthening the industry's brand and service quality. Number 5. Retooling the workforce. Retooling the workforce entails updating employees' skills and knowledge to stay up with the industry's rapid developments. It keeps people motivated, capable, and confident in their abilities, allowing them to successfully adapt to new tools, technologies, and methodologies. Number 6. Documentation of incidents. Documenting incidents entails keeping a record of any accidents or difficulties that arise. This helps us determine where improvements are needed. This approach is particularly significant in business such as hospitality. The information gathered can be used to improve customer and guest safety, security, and service quality. Number 7. Records maintenance. Records maintenance entails keeping complete records of the building's maintenance and repair, as well as the machinery, equipment, and furniture. Having a system to track these events contributes to the safety of both personnel and guests. Regularly updating maintenance logs allows for the early detection of potential problems, lowering the chance of accidents or equipment malfunctions. Now let's proceed to the next topic.
General task for hospitality and tourism facilities. There is a range of activities in the hospitality and tourism industry. The tasks involved in the operation of a hospitality facility would vary in terms of the job description. This may be more apparent in some of their duties and responsibilities, while the rest may be encountered intermittently. The following list provides an overview of the hazards and risks involved in the day-to-day operation of these facilities. First is manual handling. The areas involved in several manual movements are in the restaurant and kitchen, housekeeping, laundry, and engineering and maintenance. There are several activities that include manual labor in the hotel, among which are vacuuming, cleaning of rooms, making of beds, maneuvering trolleys of clean and soiled linens, and carrying boxes and trays. It is important that personnel are trained with the proper ways and postures in carrying out these manual activities. Next is movements and maneuvers. There are several motions involved in delivering goods and services in the hospitality and tourism industry. These movements and maneuvering cause a lot of stress in the muscles, and these strains can be a source of trips, slips, and falls. These accidents are often seen in slippery kitchen floors and areas where there are uneven elevations or tears in the floor coverings. Next is operating machinery and equipment. Machinery and equipment to be operated have at least one or several moving parts. The movement of the parts creates sufficient motion that may cause injury to people. The bulk of the machinery and equipment are in the kitchen, laundry area, and storage rooms. In engineering and maintenance are the mechanical equipment that can cause strains, sprains, cuts, and fractures. Next is exposure to hazardous substances and dangerous goods. The most common source of this kind of hazard are chemical cleaning agents. These substances are from cleaning agents such as detergents, cleaning paste, and fluids, and air fresheners. Other sources are materials used in refurbishing the spaces and furniture, such as paints, adhesives, soldering and welding rods, and other substances used in construction. These substances can be inhaled, contact by the workers and staff. Place signage on the chemicals and rooms and equipment the staff with personal protective equipment or PPE, such as masks, gloves, goggles, and the right clothing and footwear. Next is electrical risk. The equipment and machines used in the hospitality industry are mostly powered by electricity. The most common source of electrical risk is from electrical cords that are damaged and frayed. Overload of outlets and water leaks can also be sources of electrical risk. From this electric shock may occur, proper precautionary measures should be used in checking electrical systems. The use of correct work clothes and PPE when handling both mechanical and electrical equipment should be a protocol in the industry. Next is extreme environmental conditions. The temperature of the workspace may result in heat stress, heat stroke, and even hypothermia. Heat stress does not only occur when people are working under the sun. This is also prevalent and in working areas such as the kitchen, laundry, and the boiler room. Heat stress can cause excessive sweating that may lead to heat stroke. Temperature rises and results in confusing and loss of consciousness. This becomes alarming if the person falls and suffer a concussion. When someone is suffering from heat stress, immediately transfer the person out of the heat and move under a shaded area or into an air-conditioned room. The person should lie down with his or her legs and feet slightly elevated. It is important to remove heavy clothing, allow the person to drink cool water and other non-alcoholic or non-caffeinated drinks, or a cold sponge bath can also relieve the person suffering from heat stress. Hypothermia may occur in temperature countries and workspaces with uncontrolled temperature. Hypothermia can also cause loss of consciousness and is preceded by shivering, slurred speech, and shallow, slow breathing. To address hypothermia, it is important to apply heating pads or hot water bottles wrapped in cloth to the head, neck, chest, or groin. The temperature of the warming pads and bottles should be checked because they can be burn the skin. Next is exposure to loud noises. People working in the hospitality and tourism industry involved in entertainment such as nightclubs and bars are exposed to hazardous levels of sound which is referred to as noise. These conditions are also apparent to the workers and staff involved with working with equipment that creates high decibels of sounds like vacuum cleaners and machines in the boiler room. The constant and prolonged exposure to high levels of noise may cause permanent hearing damage. Next is cash handling. Commerce over the past decades has promoted the use of credit cards and checking accounts for cashless transactions. With the advent of new applications, it has become more accessible to the public. However, using cash cannot be totally removed in business transactions, including the hospitality and tourism industry. The staffs are prone to robbery and mugging. Ideally, banks can get the cash in the facilities, but sometimes this would not be possible. In handling cash, it is important to vary the time and the route when depositing or withdrawing money from the bank. Being discreet in handling and counting large amounts of cash avoids attractions from robbers. Security alarms and cameras deter robbery. It is also important to hire responsible and trustworthy people. Next is crashes and collisions. These are vehicular accidents that may be caused by crashes and collisions. This becomes apparent in transporting goods and guests from airports to their accommodations and other points of destinations. A driver without sufficient rest is one of the major causes of human error that causes accidents. Overloading of passengers and vehicles that are not roadworthy are also factors in vehicular mishaps. Last one is the work violence, sexual harassments, and stress. Work violence and forms of harassments are an unfortunate reality in most of not all industries. This event becomes more apparent in the service sectors such as hospitality and tourism industry. The negative repercussions of these include psychological injuries that may cause breakdowns and, at a certain point, physical injuries. The stress in this industry is compounded because of the number of people involved and the diversity among them, which sometimes causes conflicts. Defensible space is a design theory explicated by Oscar Newman in 1976 to address the escalating crime rate in high-rise housing projects. Over the years, there were several theorists and designers who worked on this theory, which includes the Guidelines on Crime Prevention through Environmental Design, or CPTED. The same concept can be applied in interior spaces of facilities, which include the hospitality and tourism industry.
The design of spaces may not completely eradicate problems in workplace violence and sexual harassment, but may reduce these incidents by considering the following design considerations. First, locations of seating areas, lounges, locker rooms, changing areas, and washrooms. The entrances should be distinctly visible and well lighted. The seating areas, both inside and outside the facilities, must encourage natural surveillance and provide clear sight of lines in multiple directions. Next, line of vision. The security officers and concierge staff should have an unobstructed line of vision from their workstations. The channels of communication within and among the staff must be known both by procedure and must be physically unhampered. Decrease of dead ends and entrapment areas. Loading and unloading areas should be well lighted. Service areas should be lockable and properly monitored by security officers. Public phones and ATMs should be located in areas of high traffic, far from dead ends and entrapment areas. Next, signage. Wayfinding and proper signage must be posted in lounges, locker rooms, and changing areas, and washroom. Door with viewer glass can be considered in the design of these spaces. Main doors are sometimes eliminated in the design of these spaces to avoid completely enclosing the rooms. Toilet cubicles should not reach the floors. Next is lighting and surveillance in the parking area. Studies show a high probability of crime in parking areas. Parking areas both on the surface, above floors, and basement areas should be adequately lighted, have a clear sight of vision, and free from areas of entrapment and dead ends. Access to fire exits and the rooftop. Fire exits should be never used as an alternative access way aside for emergency reasons. The rooftop should not be accessible to the public if it is being used as a service area for mechanical equipment. Last, utilization of security sensors and surveillance equipment. The use of formal electrical and mechanical surveillance equipment for areas with limited traffic and minimum vision access should be considered. There are cases wherein the establishment craft their own risk management plans, analysis, and assessment. However, as a general rule, the following assessment tools can provide an overview for practitioners in the hospitality industry.